Hey folks, welcome. It is Brian, and this is a Managed Comics update for it's Friday, October 21st, first as I record this. So I thought I would just go through a bunch of things that we've changed in the last month. It's been about a month since I said that we would go bi-weekly with thought streams. Um, just a lot of things have happened. October is a terrible month for me personally. There's just a lot of stuff going on between Thanksgiving, three birthdays, anniversary. I went away for a few days on the same week as Thanksgiving. So last week was like a 3-day week. So we had a lot of work to get in, and I just didn't have time to kind of prep for things. Plus, we're in a weird spot where we have a bunch of really cool projects that are in progress that none of them are quite where we kind of hoped they would be. So, why don't I pop up our change log and we can go over kind of some of the things that we did in the last month. A lot of it was kind of data related stuff. Uh, Penguin Random House dates were not being updated when lunar updates happened. Now, I don't know if you'll remember this, but way back when we did some major changes to our database structure. So basically, when we started, um, our Geek Fetch database back in 2020, we just did something quickly to get the ability to have multiple distributors with the same product. It was kind of a new thing. So we've learned a lot, obviously, in the couple of years since then. So we refactored it like early spring, I think, to basically allow us to have infinite number of distributors for things. That caused a whole bunch of issues with offered again products and different things. So we've kind of refined all those things. Um, Penguin Random House, in this case, the dates weren't being created for items that also had lunar distributions. Just a little bug. It was fixed very quickly. We started importing Diamond UK dates back in the spring. But what we just recently discovered was that their dates are formatted backwards, which I mean, if we would have looked at the file closer, we would have noticed that. Uh, I honestly don't know why we didn't notice it for a few months, but that was causing a problem where lunar products were having FOC dates that were like, you know, April 9th instead of September 9th. So we just flipped the dates and that is now working. It meant that we were kind of slow on updating our Diamond UK stuff for a while, just because we were trying to get those dates working again. Update items without categories, so the item will now show on Managed Comics. We found a whole ton of Penguin Random House items that had dates or categories that we just hadn't mapped to our current categories. So we just went ahead and mapped even more. I have a list of categories. I don't know how these slip through the cracks, but it happens when we're dealing with the volume of data we do. Little things happen. Um, so we found that Penguin Random House FOCs weren't showing up for several products, and what we discovered, kind of looking into it deeper, is that Penguin Random House uses a 13-digit ISBN while Diamond uses an 18-digit ISBN. We've got a longer term project to create both for every product because the 18-digit ISBN is really easy to extrapolate from the 13-digit ISBN. Likewise, the 13-digit ISBN is easy to kind of cut out of an 18-digit ISBN. So we're going to fix that in our own data. And then at some point, we'll be using that as kind of our master data record. We're also, this is kind of side quest here. Um, Series codes are a big problem, and they're a problem because Lunar does them differently than anybody else. Um, Lunar includes not just annuals, but also sometimes one shots as part of a series. So we have to create our own series code, which will be based off of the UPC code. So the UPC code, when you break it down, first 7 digits represent the distributor, or sorry, the publisher. The next 5 digits represent a series code, and the final 5 digits represent the issue number, the cover sequence, and the printing. So we can take that middle 5 and actually create accurate series codes for everything. And then what we'll do is we're going to create a parent and child series code relationship so that we can say the Batman annual is a child of the Batman series code. So if you wanted to, you could kind of we'll figure out an interface on the front end to say, do you want to show annuals with the series? Do you want to show one shots with the series? So we'll figure that out. But getting back to this list of things, offered again items should not show up in initial orders and FOC orders. So because of the way that we were doing our new distribution thing, we didn't have a flag for offered again, which meant that one month when Saga number 10 came out, anybody Saga trade paperback number 10, anybody subscribed to the Saga trades was being flagged for all of the Saga trades. So we just added an offered again flag and then kind of highlighted it on everything that was offered again. We changed the FOC on the front end to say last call FOC. This one's really kind of easy to see. Last call FOC is right there. And we added a little blurb here to everybody's site that says what is last call FOC. It makes it easier for you to explain it. You're still going to have to do a little bit of, customer education to say, if you miss this date, you're not going to get the book. But we think that will help things out a little bit. We fixed a bunch of front end problems with the Shopify Dawn theme. So Shopify's Dawn theme moved a whole bunch of files around for some reason. It's quickly becoming whack-a-mole with Dawn, but also a number of other themes. We always get information about this because Dawn tends to be the theme that a new store will sign up for. And so when we start seeing errors in our logs, we quickly get in there and fix it. And it's usually really, really simple. But like the if statements of if you error out here, then do this. If you error out here, then do this. Or like it's 6 or 7 statements right now, and it's kind of getting silly. We may have to kind of look at the whole how we inject code into sites again at some point and figure out a better way. Reset the check-in button when it goes away. So we were getting multiple reports of users that were seeing their check-in buttons vanish. So we finally figured out what the reason for this was. And this was something that we've been fighting for about 6 months. And it turned out it was a stupid JavaScript error, and we fixed it. And I haven't heard anybody complain about that since then. Maybe they're just tired of complaining about it. On October 13th, so last week, we launched a bunch of bug fixes, offered again status. Series that had offered again flags on them cannot be pulled even if the issue is not offered again. So again, this was kind of overcorrecting from the previous one. It was a really simple fix, and it got fixed within hours of it getting reported. As an admin, I cannot change a subscription to a non-AB cover to the AB cover if it's set to anything other than A or B. So back a few months ago, we made a change to the system so that A and B covers no longer, so that you can't subscribe to anything other than an A and B cover. Because first of all, anything past the B cover is pretty much hit or miss on whether or not a publisher will offer it month over month. And then on top of that, a lot of your 1 in 10s, 1 in 20s will end up being the C or E or F cover. Marvel's super inconsistent with this, and even sometimes their B covers end up being the 1 in 10. So we have some logic in there that if the B cover is the 1 in 10, it should pull the A cover instead. But again, a lot of that logic is so weird and not consistent. And we fixed some deprecated API calls being made by the Managed Comics app. So that is done as well. Moving on to the last one. This is stuff that we just released yesterday. So we added a new feature to decline to reopen a previously declined order. This came from a number of you who wanted to be able to go into something that was declined previously, return it to pending, and then now I can actually re-edit this. So now I can go in there and say this is a $12 book that is discount exempt. I can say this is a special. and send that to the customer. So now they can go back through the process of approving the change in price. This one was fairly easy to implement quickly, but we're going to revisit the entire customer activity slash pre-orders stuff. There's a number of things that we want to do, like we want to do better tracking of who declined something. So if we can tell in your store which one of your users declined it, we'll be able to say that. Obviously, when it was declined. We're also going to add the date of FOC on the item so that you can see, brackets FOC colon October 10th. A last thing that we'll do is be able to have better tracking of when the customer declines an offer that you make to them. Right now, it just kind of disappears, but we understand that you want to know when did they decline it, and be able to get back into it if you want to kind of modify the price or something like that. So that is changes we did to previously declined. As a store, I do not want to pull a comic if it has already been pulled and I get more in stock. So I actually thought this was working, but it turns out it wasn't working the way we expected it to. So we went in and like if you get a replenishment, um, you know, 6 months down the line or 6 weeks down the line for something that you got 6 weeks ago, you obviously don't want to repull that. So I think the way that it used to work, it was only like keeping track of things for a week. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 weeks before you get your replenishment in. So it was actually repulling everything. We'll not do that anymore. And we've done extensive testing to make sure, which actually makes doing demos impossible for me because I can't reuse um, reuse a file over and over again, obviously. So I guess that's good. As a store, I would like to be able to import subscriptions. So we previously had to add the subscription import to every store, which is on settings, import subscriptions. Um, Now any store can do it, but they have to follow our formatting to import their subscriptions into Managed Comics. And there's a help page for how to do that. And that, I think, puts us up to date on where we are with our recent changes. So let's take a look at a couple kind of fun things. So we have been going through the app approval process. So we totally changed around our app store page for Managed Comics subscriptions. We've been working with a company to kind of make cutesy little, more visual screenshots for each part of the process. So those are now up on the Managed Comics 2 subscription. Working on a new video. This is like a 2-minute video, but our new one will be a little bit tighter. And yeah, the whole this page is changing November 1st when Shopify changes the whole process of the Shopify app store pages. So we've rewritten everything for that. Thanks to everybody who's left a review. If you haven't, please do leave a review. It really helps to surface our app, and it gives people kind of peace of mind. I also like the fact that it says how long you've been using the app. So if you've been using the app for a few months, it lets other users know that you've been using it for Challenges has been using it for 2 months. It says when he left the recommendation, and GTX was 7 months. So that's awesome. The Managed Comics order helper is about ready. Just waiting on it to get approved from Shopify. So you get to the app in one tap, easily find Managed Comics orders, select items for cart import, carts created with items and discounts, and we have robust help, of course. So that is all true. This guy will be up at like literally the second that it gets released by Shopify. I will be sending out an email. The email is ready to go. It just needs to be clicked, send. And then we'll also have an in-app kind of thing about that, like a little promo for the Shopify POS. If you're using Shopify POS, this thing will show up. We're also talking to Binder Paws about doing something similar. In the meantime, let me actually unshare my screen, and I'm going to share. Can I share a different screen? So this is actually a live shot of my iPad using the or the Shopify POS. So obviously, we can jump into the Managed Comics 2 subscription um, right from your POS, so you can get in there and do different things. So if you need to return an order to pending and then approve that order, you can do that right through the point of sale without having to crack open another computer. I mean, you could theoretically check in your items if you wanted to. You could even get into your settings and change things in the settings. I don't recommend you do all those things on the point of sale app, but you could if you wanted to. But in the meantime, let's pop into the order helper. So we'll actually walk through how the order helper works. So I can search any of the orders that are in my entire Managed Comics order list. So if somebody comes in, and let's say Brian Garside comes in, so we'll go back into the order helper, and I'll pull up Brian Garside's order. So I'm going to search for Brian Garside. There's his order. So I can bring all of his items or just a few of his items in. Maybe he doesn't want to pick up his Son of Kal-El's. Of course, I'm going to reprimand him for not picking up Son of Kal-El's, because what's wrong with you, Brian Garside? So I import all those items into the cart, and we'll see this little thing. And now it's changed so that there's only 2 items left in the cart. The cart value doesn't update until after everything's happened. So sometimes you'll notice that like the numbers here are out of stock, but if you just wait a few seconds, Managed Comics is actually going through and updating all the products in the cart, or sorry, in your back end. So it's moving items out of your subscription into the available cart items. And then when I check it out, it takes a few seconds for Shopify and Managed Comics to talk back and forth. So if we look for Brian Garside again, depending on oh no, it's been updated. So all of the things that I removed from it, or that he paid for out of his order, have now disappeared. If I just want to see all the available orders here, let's go to Cassian Andor, and we're going to actually add all his items to the cart. And then in the cart, we're actually going to delete this one item, and we're going to check them out. And now we're going to wait a couple seconds, because it does take a few seconds for the conversation to go back and forth between Managed Comics and Shopify point of sale. The Shopify point of sale will tell the Managed Comics order helper that he paid for one of the 2 items and he tossed the other one back. Now, let's say he like straight up doesn't want that. You're going to actually have to go back into the order helper and remove it from his order completely, which will then allocate that back to the shelf copies. So yeah, it is an extra step. There's no easy way to do that in the actual POS, but yeah, you still have the ability to do it. So that's kind of the order helper in a nutshell. like I said, it's in with Shopify. We've done so much testing on this. We've honestly done more testing on this than any other thing that I've ever done testing on, including the actual the actual app that we have, because there was just so many permutations of different things that could go wrong, and there's a lot more API calls back and forth than we've ever done before. So um, I'm really excited about it, and I think I can't wait to get it out there into your hands. And I know what a big difference this will make for customers. I've done massive orders with it, and it's all been seamless. So I can take, like 50 products into the cart in like 10 seconds, which compared to, dupe, 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 dupe is a lifesaver. So yeah, it is 10 seconds. You'll have to awkwardly talk to somebody. But it's better than not talking to them for 5 minutes while you're checking in things. This is also going to set us up a lot better for cycle counts and things like that in the future. So I'm excited about that as well. But that is it for this week. Next week, October 27th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, we will do our next Managed Comics Thought Stream. We're going to do a deep dive into the point of sale. We're going to talk about some different kind of tricks and tips for the point of sale. We'll do a deeper dive into the order helper, and hopefully I can say, next week, yay, we're live in the store, but we will know better by then. All right, thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions, as always, hit us up online, help@managedcomics.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible.